Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Meantime, President Trump, of course, wrapping up his visit in China, which both sides hailed as a historic one that opens up a new chapter in bilateral relations between the two biggest economies. The president will have a lot to show from this trip. What started out as a figure of $9 billion ballooned to $250 billion worth of deals. China, on its own part, said it would continue to open its economy to foreign investment, including those from the United States, and they would be more transparent in the process. Joining us now from Beijing is Kevin Smith, CEO of Solar Reserve. He was part of the delegation that was traveling with the president to Beijing. Kevin, welcome to the show. Good morning to you. How was the trip? Was it a fruitful trip for yours amidst the $250 million of MOUs that was signed?
Yeah, it was a fruitful trip. I mean, to be clear, the CEO delegation was led by Secretary of Commerce and was involved in a number of transactions, and then there was an intersection with President Trump's visit as well. A number of contract signings that took place there. Secretary of Commerce and his team did a great job on getting us indoctrinated with some of the local companies. Although we've been active here for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you do have a history and a well sort of honed relationship in China already. Kevin, I have to admit, when I knew you were coming on the show today, I thought it was a little bit counterintuitive that I'd be talking to an American CEO of a solar company, because the narrative is that the Chinese, for whatever reason, pretty much buried the American solar industry because they were able to do things so much more cheaply and controlled so much of the photovoltaic market. Is that no longer true?
Well, it's a technology issue. So we have a different kind of technology with energy storage. We're not a panel manufacturer per se. We do large-scale facilities that interconnect into the transmission system, and we store energy in molten salt. So we've got a technology that was developed in the U.S. And the Chinese, yes, they've dominated the PV, the panel markets, but the difficulty with panels and with wind is it's intermittent. So you only get the power when the sun shines or the wind blows. We have a technology that was developed in the U.S. that can actually store energy so we can generate power during peak times or even 24 hours a day. What's interesting is that what I thought you were going to say was having a solar company travel with the current administration because of the current administration's view on renewable energy. Obviously the Chinese are hugely progressing on the renewable energy front. Current administration in the U.S. is actually kind of backtracking on that, which is very disappointing for us. But we've got great export markets that we're looking at.
Right. That was kind of my second question, was that it was a little bit counterintuitive that, your visit would be intersecting with President Trump, who, campaigned on bringing back clean coal and putting coal miners back to work. What exactly is happening on that front? I mean, is the U.S. no longer friendly territory to a company like Solar Reserve? Is that part of the reason you find yourself spending time in China?
Well, what you see is a bit of a, kind of a bifurcation of what's happening in the markets. You've got the federal government, backtracking, looking to promote and subsidize coal to try and keep it competitive with renewables and with natural gas. But then you've got the whole, private sector side, which is, hundreds of major corporations have dedicated themselves to 100% renewable energy. You've got, more than 100 cities across the U.S. that are dedicating themselves to renewable energy. So, certainly 9 out of 10 Americans favor advancements in solar energy. So it's a little bit interesting to see that the general framework at the federal level is starting to backtrack, but we're still seeing lots of progress at the state and city level and private corporations, and not just the Apples and Googles and those kinds of groups. You see General Motors, you see Procter & Gamble, you see Johnson & Johnson dedicating themselves to reaching 100% renewable energy goals. So for us, I think it's disappointing certainly that the administration is trying to get a rebirth on the coal industry, which quite frankly won't be successful. You've got much more attractive and pricing-wise and clean economy technologies like ours and others out there that can meet the U.S. energy needs. That's one of the reasons why we're in China is we have a technology that is a great fit for some of the things that China is looking to do here in advancing their renewable energy program, which is really now one of the largest programs in the world. They're looking to invest $350 billion over the next 3 years, whereas the U.S. is probably going to be, half or a third of that investment, but still pretty strong.
Kevin, alongside this trip, there was some concern that the awe and the scenery, just being smothered with protocol was going to blind or at least divert, the administration's attention away from things like market access, and that a lot of these contracts are basically statements of intent rather than firmed up, confirmed deals. I mean, that's the nature of these things, right? You do a signing, and then you let the companies do the nitty-gritty and the fine-tuning. Did this trip actually yield firm deals for Solar Reserve, and how would you answer, the concerns that a lot of this was for show, and that the $250 million in deals that we just talked about, a lot of that is going to go by the wayside and not come to fruition?
Well, I mean, there's certainly real deals that are happening in China between Chinese companies and U.S. companies, and there's a bit of a mix in the contracts that were signed yesterday afternoon, and some of them are firm deals that are going to go forward. Some of them are early stage, what they call kind of MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding. We didn't execute any deals. We've got several deals that are in late stage negotiation that we hope to get executed in the next several months. And this is kind of how it goes. I mean, I think there's certainly benefits to increasing the dialogue between the two countries, both at the federal level and at the business level. Any large transactions really take kind of years to get done, or certainly a year or two or more. So some of these transactions are the result of things that have been done over the last couple of years, and some of them are projects that will get done in the next 6 months or a year going forward, based on the environment that exists between the countries.
Kevin, thank you very much for being with us, and safe travels back home. I look forward to meeting you again back here. Kevin Smith, CEO, Solar Reserve. Shares in TWX, Time Warner, still under pressure as after reports of antitrust problems in their sale to AT&T. CNBC sources at Justice said the companies would have to divest either CNN or DirecTV. Now, speaking at a New York Times thing, the Deal Book conference, AT&T's chief said, contrary to reports, he never offered to give up CNN.